I found that there was a huge gap in the market. There was not enough really good looking fashion jewelry that looked like fine jewelry. We were getting so many orders. You're literally working 24/7. In order to be successful, just like a man, you have to pour your whole heart into it. You probably do a lot for your child. You probably do a lot for your spouse. Do it for yourself also. When did you not matter? My husband got cancer. Last year was like a madhouse, juggling how to be there for him, for my 6-year-old, and how to keep a business running. My biggest challenge along the way was not even my husband being sick. It was dealing with opinions and dealing with what people expected you to do, not what's actually happening.
Elyse.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on my show.
I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be here.
Listen, I've known you for a hot minute now.
3 years now.
3 years. We'll get into it, but you are one of those personalities that like stands out in a very great way. It's a compliment. It's like you're such a beautiful human being and such a good soul.
So nice. Thank you.
And you inspired me in ways that I don't even think you know yet, which I will share with you. But I thought you'd be a perfect fit for the show. And I feel like a lot of people could learn from you and be inspired by you.
Well, this is my first podcast, so I'm so excited to be here.
I'm honored.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So we'll get right into it.
Okay.
What inspired you to launch your own jewelry business?
I have always been into jewelry. Like if you've known me my whole life, you know, you're never gonna see me like not wearing jewelry. You're gonna see me wearing a whole lot more now probably than you did. But I don't know if it was jewelry specifically. I mean, I've always been like very entrepreneurial. I used to be a fashion recruiter. So I would recruit people to work at like Saks or back home at Whole Renfrew. So like I always had that sales aspect to me, and like I don't know if I ever wanted to work for someone. It's not the right word, but you know, I just always felt that like I had so much ambition and like I needed to do something with it. So when I moved here, because I'm from Toronto originally, when I moved here, I don't know, 9 years ago, I kind of looked at it like Miami is like a kind of a fresh start. Like I'm in the US now. I don't have like the same connections or the same kind of career move that I've done in the past. And it was just like my time to do something, and something that someone actually, this is the first time I'm actually going to tell someone this.
Okay.
I was actually traveling in Turkey before I moved to the United States. And I met this woman who like reads your, what does she do? She like reads
like read your palm?
No, it's not. They read, like you drink coffee and they read your coffee cup.
Oh, like the coffee grinds in the bottom. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I believe in like psychics and like all of that stuff, but I was traveling. I kind of was like at a standstill in life, but she told me that I was going to end up moving to the United States.
And you didn't know you were moving
I hadn't even met my husband yet.
Okay.
Like I took like a summer off, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna travel and like do my own thing. And she told me in this coffee cup, I remember I was in Çeşme, it's like a beach town in Turkey. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna move to the United States. You're gonna start your own business, and it's gonna be something with your hands. And I was like, okay, you know, sure. But like, then I got back from traveling, and that's when I met my husband. And he lived in
Toronto.
I was traveling, and then I had come to Miami prior, and I had messaged him on like one of the dating apps. Like we connected, but we never actually met when we were here. And then we connected when I got back from traveling, and he was like, oh, like, are you in West Palm Beach? Do you want to meet up, like go on a date? And I'm like, oh no, I'm back in Toronto. Like I was just there for a week. He was like, okay, well, how are we going to meet? So then we just started talking, and then, you know, long story short, something for another day. That's how I moved to Miami's, because I met my husband.
Okay.
But then like I was like, oh, I guess she was right. I moved to the US.
Oh,
So like I hadn't even met him yet when she told me that I was going to live in she didn't say the US. She said another country, but like I don't know where else I would have moved from Canada. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how that happened. So that always resonated with me when I was like, okay, so now I live in Miami. I live in a whole new place. Now I'm going to do something with my hands.
Wow.
Literally my hands.
Wow.
So then at the time I was working at Saks. Brickell had just opened up.
The Brickell Mall thing.
The Brickell Saks had just opened up, and I had, you know, my husband and I got married. I just got my green card, and I'm like, all right, ready to work. I went back to my roots of being in sales, luxury. Like I've been into fashion forever, my whole life. And then it kind of evolved from there. I actually had a partner in our business, in my business initially. So we started it together. We started developing it like October. I'm trying to remember, when was COVID? 2020.
2020, it
So
started.
we opened up the business, like the LLC, in October of 19.
Oh, and then COVID just happened.
And then we started designing pieces.
Okay.
So I knew that there was a huge lack in the market of like my expectation of jewelry that didn't cost $100 million. So like I also couldn't find anything that fit me. I'm like, I don't want to pay, you know, $4,000 for a bracelet, but then like everything under $100 was like a size 7 or up, and like I'm a 6.
You know this. I'm
Yeah,
the
no,
same
like
issue.
when you first connected to me, you're like, you sell small sizes. Like I'm
I was
coming
can
to see
and
you.
then there was like things I was like, can you make this smaller for me? And I was like, thank you. Like I have tiny wrists.
Tiny.
You know?
And like, you know what? A lot of people, you know, the industry standard is 7 inches, which is fine. But like, there's still a whole, you know, industry out. There's still like a whole group of people who have small wrists.
Right.
So like, I was like, okay, I'm ready to like make myself stuff that like fits me. And then that's how the brand kind of developed.
That's what inspired you to.
And what inspired me was to create really good looking fashion jewelry that looked like fine jewelry.
Got it.
Where like, you know, I had owned Cartier bracelets, I had owned, you know, and like tennis necklace. I had owned things that either like were hand down from somebody, you know, were given to me during a special occasion or something. And I was like, you know what, like these are my forever bracelets, but like what else can go with it?
That's what inspired you. You basically found a gap in the market.
Yeah, I found that there was a huge gap in the market, and I found that there was like not enough fashion jewelry that looked like fine jewelry, that I wanted to be able to say like, okay, you know what, I want to stack a silver diamond bangle with CZ next to my Cartier, and like, who's making these rules that I can't? And I
love
feel
that.
like the stigma in jewelry, especially like 5-6 years ago, was like, you're either wearing fashion or you're wearing fine, and like mixing fine and fashion was like, felt like was not really a thing. And
I learned that from you.
I don't understand. If you want to wear a diamond bracelet and you want to wear a CZ bracelet next to it,
cares?
who's making the rules?
I
The only
agree.
person that's making the rules is you.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
There's so much stigma against, like, what is expected women to wear in the jewelry. Like, you know, you have to, you know, ask your husband for something once a year. It's like, I don't want to ask him. I want to buy it myself. But obviously, I'm not going to be shouting out $5,000 every couple weeks, you know, for something that I want to add to my stack. So like that made me think like, if we can make really nice fashion jewelry that can complement fine jewelry, then like we've kind of like put a gap, you know, there's like a gap in the market.
Right.
Which also comes with like a lot of headache from
Right.
the industry. But again, you do you, girl. Same thing I tell my customers every day.
I love that. So let's go back to baby Elyse.
Oh God.
Born and raised in Toronto.
I was born and raised in Toronto.
Which, let me say right now, I have every time I've met a Canadian,
Okay.
I'm obsessed. I don't know what, I just get along with you guys. I don't know what it is.
I think we're just really nice people. We apologize and we say please and thank you so much. Everyone just thinks we're super polite.
No, Elyse, it's not, I just feel like you guys are genuine and you're just easy to talk to. Like this morning, my makeup guy, he's from Canada. And I just met him like a week ago. And I've worked with him two or three times now.
Right.
And he's so, like, I was looking forward to talking to him this morning. I was looking forward to talking to, and it's just like, I don't know what it is. You guys are so personable. And I tell my husband, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but what are they giving them in Canada? Because
Well, I don't know if it's every single Canadian.
I haven't met anyone that like was rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, so also.
But no, we're genuinely known as very genuine, good, nice, polite people.
I love it.
Yeah.
And plus, like my favorite artist is from Toronto. I'll give you one guess. You know.
Drake?
Yes.
That was a hard one.
So no, I'm a big Toronto fan. Okay, so you're born and raised there. I think in a Jewish family, right?
Yeah,
I know that
I'm
about
Jewish,
you.
yeah.
How describe me like your childhood, your parents,
so-
the dynamic, your
Yeah,
siblings.
so my parents were, I mean, I grew up pretty normal. My parents divorced when I was 13.
Okay.
So that is something I could probably say like just made me stronger.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that like, you know, I had tons of issues around it. But it's just definitely one of those things like when you have like divorced parents, you definitely get like more of a thicker skin Because like, you know, they're dealing with their stuff. And then like, you're kind of like in survival mode. Like,
You're like number two.
yeah, like you're just,
Almost,
you
kinda
yeah. And like, again, I don't know if it would have happened if I was younger, like how I would feel, but like I was a teen. So like, you know, it was kind of like, okay, parents are getting divorced. I was not like against it because I'm like, well, if they're not getting along and they don't like each other, they probably shouldn't stay together.
You were like old enough to
I was like, yeah, I was a teenager. I was like, I was under the understanding, right? My father traveled a ton. My mom was a workaholic. So I was like, you know, life just kind of seemed the same.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a younger brother.
And how'd he take it?
He was younger, so
Okay.
I don't think it affected him until later on.
Okay.
But like, I don't know if it really affected him. I don't know how much, you know, some people are very affected by divorced parents. I wouldn't say that we were super affected. I mean, it didn't stop us from getting good grades or getting jobs or starting your own business one day and getting, you know what I mean? Like,
Got it.
we, you know, life goes on type
Right.
thing.
Right. I love that. So did your parents, like, were you, you know, did they say you have to go a certain career path or like,
No,
how did
my parents were very like open-minded. Like there was no pressure to, you know, go to the best school. There was no pressure to be the best. There was no pressure to like, you have to marry this type of person. You know, my parents were very like, you do you, and like, hopefully you make the right decisions.
What do you think in your upbringing has influenced you, or how has it influenced your perspective on, because I see you as a very independent,
Right.
I don't want to say workhorse, but you're a power woman, you know, and you have a very strong personality. You're a very independent person.
Right.
And I can see that like from day one. And I think I resonated with you on that too. Like when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, like she's such like a powerhouse. Do you think your upbringing had something to do with that?
I don't know if it was my upbringing. I just had like, again, I had working parents. So like, you know, my mom worked, my dad worked hard, you know, that's all I really knew. Like, you have to work hard to get things in life. Things do not come to you for free. So like, I grew up with like, you know, nice things, and I lived in a nice area, and I went to private school, and I was given all the tools to like succeed. It wasn't about that. My parents were like, nothing comes easy.
Like, this is ours. You got to go out there and make your own.
Yeah, like no one was you know, it's not like I had a job at 14, you know.
Right.
Yes, like you know, I think that like I definitely were given like nice things and like the ability to understand like what I want. But I definitely knew I had to do it on my own. I knew no one was handing me a silver platter and saying like, okay, like we're giving you a job and like, this is what you're going to do with your life. Like I've always been a go-getter. I've always been into like, how can I make money and like, how can I do something that I love?
So you'd say entrepreneurship was kind of innate in you just by seeing your family.
My dad
work.
is like the epitome of like an entrepreneur. Like
What did he do, if you don't mind me asking?
growing up, my dad works in the telecommunications business. So like he was like one of the first companies to deal with like cell phones, Motorola two-way pagers, and like the whole technology, like when the internet blew up and stuff like that. So he was the president of a company. So like he was a workaholic. He traveled all the time. He's also someone that like always is like looking for a new business venture. He's always like, you know, interested in learning and like
So definitely very entrepreneurial.
I get
100%.
all of that for him. He's a talker. He's a salesman. Like, you know, I think that like genetically was just handed down to
rubbed
me.
off on you.
Yeah,
for
and my
sure.
brother's a huge talker too, but my brother's more like corporate Canada, works in a bank, structure, where like I wouldn't function with structure.
No, you need chaos.
I need chaos.
you
if
thrive
it's
in
too
it.
structured,
I
I'm like,
see
I
you.
don't understand. Like,
I see you. You thrive in it. Okay. So you're in Canada, you're growing, school, college, majors, anything? Okay.
No, like social sciences.
Okay. So then how did you end up in retail? Explain to me retail, what's it
So
called?
yeah,
Retail
so
luxury
recruiting. So like I would work with like other companies, and we would hire like, so let's say like a department. Let's say Saks is opening up.
Was this your first job?
No,
Out of college?
I actually sold life insurance.
What?
Yeah, I sold life insurance for like 7 years.
Elyse, that's so not you. See,
When I looked for my first job, it was to actually go in. My girlfriend brought me into a life insurance company and was like, listen, they're looking for like junior recruiters to find sales reps to sell life insurance.
Oh.
So I started in the HR in recruiting.
Okay.
But then I was seeing how much money the actual life insurance agents were making. And I was like, no. I'm going to go do that. So I went back to like school and I studied and I got my life insurance broker license.
Oh, I didn't even know you needed one of those.
Yeah, you need a
Okay.
license to sell insurance.
You're still in Canada.
Yeah, I'm 22.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, like, I made the most money in my life when I was 22, 23, and 24.
And that just kind of probably empowered you.
Well, then I was like, well, nothing below this is ever going to be
acceptable. Yeah.
And I was like one of the like youngest people to like make convention, which was actually in Miami. My first like, you have to sell, I think it was $1 million or up.
Okay.
There was like different tiers, and like you get to invited to this convention, and it was actually at the Fontainebleau in Miami.
Oh my gosh.
I remember that. So yeah, so I did that, and then I'm going to tell you though, like selling something to people, like with the words like you're going to die one day, so like you need to cover it, you know, it gets very morbid, and like you get very burnt out of it. So by the time I was 20, it's like 21, 22, for about like 4.5 years, I got really burnt out.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to the recruiting side, because I was just like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Especially for a 20-something.
And like, again, it wasn't really my personality. My personality was sales.
Right.
But it was not life insurance.
Right.
I was like, where is like my jeans and my Chanel shoes? And like, I wanted to be fancy.
Right. Like the luxury and.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
You know, and then this was just like me putting on like black pants, black turtleneck, and like being morbid. But I was very good at it. Yeah. So I did that, and then that got me back into the recruiting side. And then I got hired by a company to do more like general recruiting. So like marketing managers, retail people, like looking for like, you know, managers of department stores. And
This
like,
is now you getting into the luxury part of it.
yeah, like, well, now I'm getting into more of like retail, even like CEOs, VPs, like getting into like a different type of recruitment, which like I felt was more my personality. I got to like look the part more, which then got me into like working more in retail. Then retail took me to luxury. So we have a department store in Toronto called Holt Renfrew, which is like the same equivalent of like a Saks Fifth Avenue.
Say it again for me.
Holt Renfrew.
Holt Renfrew
is like a Saks.
Okay.
So it's like a very high-end department store.
Okay.
And they brought me on to do to open up one of their big like new retail locations. So that was the last job I had for somebody before I went on my own. And I moved here.
And how old were you at the time?
Oh, no, it was like I moved here when I was 30, so 29.
That was your last time you worked for somebody else?
That was the last time I worked for and I was only on a contract, so I didn't even technically felt like I worked for them.
Wow. Okay.
But like hired by a company.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Now you move to Miami.
Yes.
And you find your husband in the middle of all of this.
No. So we had already started dating. I'd still live in Toronto. We were back and forth for like a year.
He was living here though.
He was living here. Him and I were back and forth for a year.
So he's what brought you here?
Yes. He told me he was not living in Toronto. It was very cold there and he was not interested.
Okay, got it. So now you come here, you're about 30.
I got married when I was 30.
Okay. And now you're like fresh new start, new country.
Yeah. And I didn't do anything for like a year because I had to wait to get a green card.
Green card, right.
Usually you can get it within 3 months, but like it took like 7 months. So like, you know, we were waiting that. So I didn't do anything for 7 months. So that really motivated me after that to like, I got to do something.
During these 7 months, were you like planning and plotting about fine jewelry?
No, because a work opportunity is what led me to it.
Okay, so you get your work permit and now you have a job.
Yeah, I got a job at Saks.
Got it. In Brickell.
Correct.
Okay. And then
what do you think I did there?
Something in luxury, obviously.
I sold shoes.
Oh.
Because I also got 50% discount.
Oh my God. I love you.
I'm just being honest.
It's like so, yeah, I love it.
Just go get a job, and I'm like, okay.
I love it.
I'm gonna go get a job selling shoes that I'm gonna spend all my money buying.
Yeah. Hey, it works. You got 50% off. It's fine.
It was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I don't know if that's still the way it works, but back in the day, it was great.
How long did you do this for? 7
months.
What happened?
I got pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I couldn't even leave my room for. Pregnancy was very difficult for me.
Mentally or physically?
All of it.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
I was super nauseous.
Oh my gosh.
24/7, and I'm an emetaphobic, so like I'm terrified of vomiting.
Oh my
like crippling terrified.
Okay.
Something most people don't know about me.
Okay.
But like I didn't leave. I don't think I left my room for 3 months. The sunlight made me nauseous, the smell. So like I was like, I can't leave my bedroom because it's the only place that doesn't make me nauseous.
Wow.
So I told my husband, I'm like, I'm not working anymore. I'm not leaving this room for 3 months. So like I didn't work during my pregnancy, or did I? I think I took a contract actually recruiting for AT&T.
Okay.
It was a temporary, like 1-year contract. They needed someone to, they opened up a ton of AT&T stores and they needed someone to fill all of the staff. But like I was able to work from home.
I was gonna say, you're working from home.
I was working more from home. I only had to go there once a week.
Okay.
And it was in Hollywood, so it was like not far from home.
Okay.
But like that day I had to take so much like anti-nausea. Do you know what I mean? Like I just didn't want to do anything. I was motivated to do 0.
Wow.
Because being pregnant's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
So you do sex for like 7 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you get pregnant, you find, and then you're just too nauseous and
I'm
sick
just
to be dealing with that.
I just
So you
like
do
was
this-
like I need to be at home.
Okay. So work from home thing, how long did you do that for?
Until my daughter was 3 months old.
Wow.
And that's when EP Fine Jewelry, which was originally Elyse Page Jewelry, started.
Why then? Why did you pick that time?
Because I was doing independent recruitment
Okay.
for someone who I got introduced to, who happened to have been in the jewelry industry. And when I told him about my ideas, about what I wanted to do to like build like, you know, this fashion jewelry brand, he was like, I think you've got something. And like, I know how hard of a worker you are. So like, I'm going to help you. And then, you know, just like meeting people in the industry and stuff like that. So a recruitment opportunity led me to him.
And your daughter at this point is 3 months old.
My daughter's 3 months old. Yeah.
You guys are in Miami.
And we live in Miami.
Oh my gosh. What challenges in you know, now going from having a 3-month-old at home and now you're opening up your own business. That's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Like she's 3 months. What challenges did you face in this transitionary period?
Well, I mean, it was a lot of like, again, working from home and like spending time researching like manufacturing, researching, you know, jewelry trends, researching like what it is and like what is going to be the message of the brand and like who is our target audience. So a lot of it was like done at home. So like I wouldn't say that like babies sleep a lot.
I don't know. I know they cry a lot too.
They
so
cry
I don't
a
know.
lot too. Obviously, I was very fortunate to have help. So, I mean, while developing and doing all this, like, you know, I did have a huge support system. So, like, I wouldn't say that was the biggest challenge, but it was
Okay.
just more like having everything put into place, like making samples, getting them back and being like, this is not what I envisioned. And like now, 6 years later, like that rarely happens to me because like I know exactly.
Exactly how to-
So like now I don't deal with those issues, but initially it was like, okay, I gave you an idea. Now you have to make me this thing. And like when it comes in, you're like, no.
Not how I saw it.
Even if it's how it's thought, I'm so particular
Yeah.
that like go back and let's make it again. So like it took a good 7 months for development and to
wow.
really get those first 10 products out there
Okay.
for our Mother's Day launch.
And you did this all online at first, because right now you have a storefront, you have a showroom,
I have a
and
showroom
and you're
now.
online.
I'm mostly online.
You're mostly
My
online.
showroom is more because, you know, I've gained such a huge client base in Miami and like even people from other states who come and visit, they want to sit and chat. They want to see everything. They want to touch it, especially because we do a lot of like, we do natural, we do lab, we do all like a lot of fine jewelry now also. And so it is something that sometimes people want to, you know, come in, design, try on. So that's when that's when I open the showroom. But for the first 5 years, solely online.
Strictly online. Okay. And then how do you think, just looking back for a little bit of reflection, how do you think your experience in retail translated or helped you in now being an entrepreneur and a business owner?
You really have to understand like trends. You have to understand, the most important thing is you have to understand who's your audience. Whether it's a piece of clothing or it's a watch or a ring or whatever it is, a shoe, whatever it is that you're trying to like sell, you have to know who your target audience is. So I think the biggest mistake people make is that they try to sell to everybody, which is something that we tried to do. We tried to take a product that was really like niche marketed. We felt that like our price point was like, and we still do. We feel like our price points are really good, but yet, you know, trying to cater to like the entire United States. At one point, we realized like, okay, that's not going to work. We have to stay within our niche, and we have to understand who it is we're selling to.
So you've learned that retail taught you this.
Retail taught
And then
me
you were
that.
able to translate this into your
Yeah,
business.
because when you're shopping, like if you go to Holt Renfrew, for example, or Saks Fifth Avenue, it's a certain clientele shopping there.
Yeah, it's also a certain experience.
It's a different experience.
It's a whole different
But
experience.
I'm saying going to like Saks
Yeah.
versus going to like
Even between Nordstrom and Saks, completely different.
100%. But I guess you're still, you know, Saks is still selling a certain price point.
Yes.
Which, you know, when you're walking in there, like, you know, you're not finding something for $25.
Right,
The
right.
expectation that you're going to walk into Saks and spend less than a couple $100 is pretty understandable, right? So
Right.
we were trying to sell to everybody. Like, oh, here's a ring for $25, but the same ring can also be made for $100, and the same ring can be made
I
for
see.
$2,500.
Okay.
I've now tried to narrow that down into 2 categories instead of 7.
Got it. Got it.
Silver and gold.
Got it. And you found that that's worked best for your business now.
My business has changed so much for the better in the sense where our repeat customer rate is so high for an online store. I think our repeat customer rate is 88%.
Elyse, that's really good.
It's insane. So that's the one thing I can say, like, you know, a lot of people see it online and they're like, it looks really good. I'm going to buy it, but I'm not 100% sure. And then like, we'll get a DM.
Right.
I think you were one of them.
Probably, yeah.
Being like, okay, I'm obsessed with this. This is such good quality, and like your prices are so reasonable. I'm coming back for more.
You're very good at keeping your audience on top of trends and like new things. Like, no, but you really are. Like, I watch all of your stories. Like, literally, you're like the first one that pops up in the morning. And like, I'm like looking
I'm glad
at
the algorithm's working
Yeah,
again.
no, it is. And like, you're like, and the way you style it. And I think the best thing about you is like, you know how to style jewelry and what's going to look good on someone. You know how to stack things. Like, you realize that that's an art in and of itself, right?
To be honest, like, it's so funny because like I think that you have the most beautiful jewelry. I think that you also like understand stacking and all that stuff, but you also live in a place where big is great, bigger is better. Like, you know, Miami is such a place where like we can really like, you know, you see like, you know, a big diamond or a bunch of necklaces and like, you're not really like, oh, okay. But like, if you go to like a more like subtle place, like, you know, a smaller town in New Jersey, I think they want to have that big stack and like, you know, the diamonds, all of the things, but I think it's just more subtle, right?
It's not normal there.
No, it's not.
It's more of like
so,
a thing
you know,
down here.
I live here, and like what I love about Miami is it's allowed me to really be who I want to be. I want to wear the most extravagantly big ring, you know, I want to wear diamonds up my ears, like, and that's my personality.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like a big personality,
Yeah.
so I feel like, you
I
know,
love that about Miami. You get to be whoever you want to
Yeah,
be.
and
As
like-
loud as you want to be or as quiet. It's like you just get to just be you.
100%.
Whether it looks good to someone or not, that's not the point. It's just like you there's a lot of creative expression here. I feel like you can really, really express yourself here. And people do it in all sorts of crazy ways. But I agree with you. I think with jewelry, Miami's fun.
And I'll get people from like, you know, like places like not such like big places that are like, oh, like I love your stack. Like I wish I could wear all those bracelets. Like, well, why can't you?
You can.
So I think that like it takes some other places like, you know, time. Like people will want to wear like one of something. Like they'd rather wear like one big tennis bracelet. I would rather wear like 6 of them. I know, I'm the same.
I'm not into the quiet, like, you know, like
I'm not into quiet luxury.
The quiet
at
luxury
all.
thing. Like,
No.
I'm not that delicate, feminine girl.
No.
Like, it's not my. I like it. I think some girls like really they look good in it, and I think
it's very classy.
It's very classy.
But like, I also think this is classy. So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know what? I've learned along the way that like people have their own opinions on like what they feel
It's
like.
subjective.
100%. I'm going to be me. If you like the jewelry, if you like the style, if you like the clothes, like follow along, like we're not going anywhere. But I think it's all individualized, right? So
Right.
like the people that we're catering to like our style, like our stacks,
Yeah.
you know, they want that, right?
Yeah.
Some people might not even be into it yet, but they want to get into it. So like that's what we're trying to,
Yeah.
you know, pull from
Yeah.
it.
No, I love your stuff. Okay, so now your business is up and running.
Yeah.
We're doing this. Now, how many years have you been? How long has EP Fine Jewelry
So-
been?
I think we're on year 6 now.
Year 6. Okay.
So I opened the business in 18, but in May of 2019, we launched our charm bangle with the letters
The letters, yeah.
and about like 6 other products. There was like a heart necklace, a heart ring, and 2 other like double diamond bangles that like would complement it.
Okay.
We launched that for Mother's Day. So this bangle was the launch for Mother's Day.
Okay.
And that's when we launched the brand and when we launched that product. We only started with 5 products.
In your entrepreneurial journey, you have this, you have your daughter, your husband. You had all, you're creating a business and you're doing all these things, but personally, was there a moment now where you were facing like a challenge?
I wouldn't say it was so much of a challenge, but like when you first start a business and like you know you're hoping that it's going to take off. Like ours really took off. We were getting so many orders and we were like, okay, we weren't expecting this. So like my whole living room was turned into like shipping labels on the floor. My whole like, you know, like under your mantle, like was like boxes of charms to build the bangles. And like, you're literally working 24/7. So like, you know, my husband definitely got annoyed and was like, hello, us, me.
Right.
But I mean, isn't that what would happen in any business, right? Like,
I've never met an entrepreneur yet. My whole family's entrepreneurs. I am, my husband. I haven't met anybody who has it all figured out or is balanced.
I had nothing figured out. I was just going with the flow.
You're just
and
going with it.
praying that it all worked out.
Yeah, there is a certain level and type of chaos I feel like we live in and we survive in, but like it makes us happy.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I'm not trying to say like this is like, I'm saying yes to toxic, you know, environments. No, I'm just saying like, there are some personalities who are geared to, we feel better about ourselves and we feel good when we have a purpose and when we're creating something out of nothing.
Well, not even on that. Like what really blew us up was COVID because no one could shop anymore in stores.
So for you, that wasn't a challenge. That was like,
yeah, it was a challenge in the beginning in that first May to December.
Right.
It was a challenge, work-life balance. Like my husband was like, you literally are attached to your phone. I still am attached to your phone 24/7. And like people are like, oh my God, I want to make this. Like we didn't have the same structure that we have now where you could just go on the website and build the bracelet and check out.
Right.
I was literally helping people
do it from scratch.
And like my whole focus was like, wow, like we have something. And, you know, so like taking away from like your family time and like that was my focus. But what happened was COVID hit. And I'm like, that's it. We're done. We're done. No one's going to have any money. No one's going to want to buy anything from us. It's done. And it was the complete and utter opposite. It was like everyone was sitting at home in their pajamas, but everyone wanted something to make them feel good, but no one knew what was going to happen. So no one was spending thousands and thousands of dollars, but they were spending hundreds. So they wanted a charm bracelet, or they wanted a bangle, or they wanted earrings, or they wanted something.
Yeah.
But they wanted it in the $100 to $400 range. They weren't ready to what are you buying a $10,000 tennis necklace for?
Where are you going?
Right, but you still needed to feel good about yourself. So like that is actually when our tennis necklace, that is our best-selling tennis necklace to this day, is just a Cesian silver tennis necklace.
Yeah.
We couldn't keep it in stock.
That and sweatpants, remember?
And
like,
I was like,
work from home gear.
Can I tell you? And that's when I said, like, I'm sorry, I can be as decked out as I want in sweatpants because this is life now. Life is this. Life is like, you want to feel good about yourself. You're not probably going to buy a purse because you're not leaving your house. And you're probably not going to buy a pair of jeans because, like, that's not comfortable to sit in. But you know what's comfortable? Wanting to look at your ring or wanting to, like, just feel sparkly of some sort. So we blew up. Wow. Like when I tell you I was ready to like put in the cards and be like, all right, like we just brought in like $50,000 worth of inventory. And then I was like, oh my God, what if we sell this and then I can't get more because the whole world shut down.
Right.
That was not the case.
Wow.
We made it happen. We jumped through hoops. We contacted manufacturers and said, you can't shut down.
So you were still able to get product?
Yes, because
selling, I got it. You got it. But
because,
like,
you know, we are fortunate that we are directly connected to the factory. We were definitely, so it was a little bit different.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's very different than you not being able to call them. Like, you know, we had connections to the direct factory. So different, but yes. There were weeks where they're like, we can't work, we're shut down. And we were like, find someone who can go in. Like I was so pushy. And like we were so pushy, like our team, like, you know, the people that, you know, we were all just very pushy.
Okay, so business is booming.
Yes.
COVID did the opposite of what you thought it would do.
Yeah, COVID was insane. And since then, it has been consistent, if not more.
Yeah.
And like we went in from just fashion jewelry to now doing fine jewelry to doing like diamonds and lab diamonds and everything that comes with it. And like, to be honest, like my favorite part of the business is actually doing like custom work. So like we get tons of people who want, you know, engagement rings, who want to make like just unique pieces. So like that's really been like my passion recently, is like I get excited to design something with somebody. But yeah, so it's definitely trended upwards, and I'm very thankful for it. Yeah.
When did you decide to get a showroom? Because you are online.
So it's
100%, but when did you?
It's my office.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, if you come to the showroom, which you have,
yeah.
I've had an office forever, but I was like, you know what? So many people want to come and see us. So then I decided to turn the front into like a showroom environment where people could come in, they can build a bracelet if they want, they can come and sit down and choose their diamond ring, they can just come and touch and see and be like, all right, I want to order this, I want to order that. So the idea behind that was to be able to cater to like people who really don't like to shop online,
right,
or who really just wanted to see the quality.
Yeah, I think with jewelry sometimes, I mean, I've definitely shopped online, but I think because I come into your showroom a lot, and I just feel like seeing it in person, getting it tailored to your size, you know, like all these things, like you get to create, and you're so helpful with it, like your input. I told you know what's going to look good on somebody, you know, and I feel like that's like definitely a gift that you have. So now, what about some personal challenges that you have faced in your personal life that, you know, you'd be willing to share?
Well, last year, I mean, I did share this a little bit on social media. I know I shared it with you because you and I, you know,
we were there designing something at the time, I remember.
100%. We've also, you know, developed a relationship. But yeah, so I shared it a very small amount on social media. I didn't want it to be like the center focus. Like, again, my center focus is my business. My center focus is like, what would you like to see, right? You know, I don't want to get too political on my page. I don't want to talk about world politics on my page. You know, once in a while I'll share like an opinion here and there, but like that's not what my platform's for. My platform is like a happy, safe place. Yeah. And so, you know, I shared some of my personal challenges last year, but I didn't get too much into it because I didn't want it to be like the core focus of like what I do. But my husband got sick in 2023 in December. He got cancer. So last year was like a madhouse of juggling how to be there for him, how to be there for my 6-year-old, and like how to keep a business running. And my biggest challenge along the way, to be honest, was not even my husband being sick. It was dealing with opinions and dealing with your surroundings and like what people expected you to do, not what's actually happening.
Like,
meaning like people were like, you know, people would find out my husband was sick and they would be like, oh, I watch you on social media, I would never have known. And it was kind of like, well, why would you know? Because I'm not sharing it and I'm trying to keep, you know, my business going.
Yeah.
Not only for my sanity. I mean, I felt like that was like the hour and a half that I kind of got to be distracted.
Right.
To like all the stuff that was going on in my life. Like my husband had a major surgery, he got pneumonia, he was put on a ventilator, like he was in the hospital, you know, it was in and out of hospitals for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And, you know, you get a lot of opinions and you get a lot of like, you're pulled in so many directions and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Am I supposed to just like fumble and crack? Or like, do I have to keep going?
It's almost like you're faulted for, you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't. Like
100%.
If you keep going, it's like, oh, now I look like an insensitive wife and I'm not doing enough. And they expect me to sit home with him and like coddle. And it's like, dude, you don't understand. Like I have a business to run. I have a child to take care of and I have to be there for him and I have to be there for myself.
Correct.
You know, and it's funny because if the roles were reversed, you know, and a man was
100%
still going to work,
100%.
You know what society would say? Well, who's going to pay her bills? Who's going to pay the medical bills? And who's going to do this? And that's still sad to me that still happens in 2020.
And, you know, I did mention that, like, it's so funny because I was like, you know, I felt like people were judging me for literally not being there standing by his side 24/7 and like kind of being back and forth from the hospital, back and forth. I felt totally judged, like that I'm doing a shitty job. But then I'm thinking like, if this was the reverse, you don't think he would be going to work and being like, you know, coming and seeing me and whispering in my ear like, babe, I gotta keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that like the stigma of that, like I'm supposed to just drop whatever it is that I'm doing and like, what, am I supposed to just close my doors?
No.
So that was my biggest challenge in life, is really understanding that like there are some people that are going to like literally pick you up and help you along the way. And there's other people and other circumstances that are gonna just like test you. Like, you're already down. Why are you throwing me down even more?
My gosh.
So that to me, in my entire life of living, between like being on your own, and again, I'm here with no family.
Yeah.
So like I'm by myself,
Yeah.
but I have to run a business. I have to ship product. I have to keep designing. I have to keep the face on social media and be like, hi guys, good morning. Like,
Elyse, you did.
This
And
is-
I'm a witness to all of this.
thank
Because
you.
we were designing things together, and I remember coming home and telling her, I'm like, dude, she literally like, I'm commending you on how you handle it. Like, it was very inspiring to me, but I was just like, go Elyse. Like, oh my gosh, can all of us take a page from your book? I didn't see that as like a negative thing at all. I was like, holy shit, because I could feel your energy, you know? You were so present with me when I was there. I could feel you. You didn't want to talk about that stuff. It's not like you were suppressing it. You were just like, it's business.
yeah.
I'm working, you know, and that's that. And I got to be on for my daughter
Well,
as
like I had a schedule going. I had like, you know, I'm going to go to the office in the morning. I have a wonderful assistant. She helps me with everything. I'm like, I'm going to go there in the morning. I'm going to get on social media. I'm going to talk about new product launches. I'm going to talk about new product that came in. I'm going to show you what you guys want to see. By 11:30, I was out of there and I was at the hospital all afternoon. And I would record like hours and hours of footage or like stories or whatever it is that you guys needed to see, and I would put it on throughout the day. But like, I was very much present. It's just that like everyone handles things differently, and the thing is that until you're in that position, I don't know why everyone feels the need to tell you how or when you should do things.
People expect you to share the how and the when, and what they don't understand is social media is, it's what we share with you. You know, like, you see what we share with you. That's it. So, I mean, I don't never post in real time, and it's so crazy because people.
I do all the time, but I didn't want it to be about, oh, I feel so bad for her, I'm gonna support her because I feel bad. I didn't want that.
You don't need a pity party.
You know, I'm not someone who shares like my entire life on social media. You know, you guys will see like my daughter here and there. You know, you see like the fun things I'm doing, like being on this podcast. But like, I don't.
Thank you.
But like, I don't want to show every aspect of my life. You probably see my dog more than anything, but like, again, it's what you want to share, right? Social media is about what you want to share.
Which is how it should be, and it should be respected.
100%.
That, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it should be, we should all respect each other's boundaries when it comes to that. You know, people say, oh, but you're in the media or you're on social media. It doesn't matter. There's still boundaries there.
Yeah, I definitely have boundaries.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be feeling some sort of way. Like, when someone's going through something like that, I learned so much from you during that time, and I looked up to you so much. I still look up to you a lot, and I'm just like, wow, like, that is somebody who's handling her business. And I'm not saying don't show emotion. I'm not like, I'm not glorifying that.
I am very good. I do have a talent. My talent is I do know how to turn off.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people like. You know, I have a really good friend, and she was like, instead of, you know, she was one of those people that was like so supportive, and she was like, if I were you dealing with what you've dealt with, I would be in a ball on the floor, depressed, under a blanket, and I would not even be able to function. And like, here you are taking, like, things are being literally thrown at you, and you're like, okay, you know, like when things stop, okay, you know, like when you see in movies, someone throws a ball and like time like goes still. That was me. Like, everything that was being thrown at me, like family, doctors, friends, like everything would just like from 9:30 in the morning till 11:30 in the morning, it's like life was standing still. And all the balls were, you know, all the like balls being thrown at you.
And you could just see them slow-mo. Like,
yeah, they're slow-mo like coming at you, and you're like, okay, like I don't need those right this minute. And like, I would do what I need to do. And then the balls would start throwing at me and I'd be like, okay, dodge them. But yes, I have, this has taught me that like I have a very good ability of turning things on and off. And some people thought that was good and some people thought it was bad. But I mean, at the end of the day,
it's your life.
It's my life. It's my experience. And like, I got through it.
Do you feel like EP Fine Jewelry helped you get through your husband's
1000%? Because if I didn't have my business and if I didn't have, like, I love what I do. I love talking to people on social media. I don't care if it's 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night.
You respond. Yeah,
you know what? Can I tell you why? Because the majority of my clientele, I feel like, are moms. And I don't even talk to anyone between 3 and 7. I'm busy. I'm pickup. I'm activities. I'm homework. I'm dinner. I'm bath time. Then the moms put the kids to bed.
Yep,
and from 8 to 11, it's like, all right, I want to buy this. I want to know about this. What's the size of this? So I've learned to take my breaks between 3 and 7. So like I'll be full force between like 9 and 2. And then like from 3 to 7, I'm like radio silence. And then like I'm back at it like 8 to 11.
What sacrifices do you feel you have had to make in your business? But I mean, those sacrifices could be like, as a mother or as a wife or as an entrepreneur, or even personal sacrifices that you feel you've had to make to see the success that you have today.
Definitely. Like my husband would definitely say I work too much. And like, I think for a couple of years, he was like getting very annoyed. I know, because he told me, like he would get annoyed, he would say like, pay attention to your daughter. Hello, pay attention to us. Like he would say to me like, maybe from 6 to 8, put your phone down. But like, I was so in it. I was like loving what I was doing. That was definitely like a challenge, trying to juggle. My daughter was young. She didn't notice, she wouldn't be someone who noticed, but like my husband definitely was like priorities. Like I come home from work, I'm present. I needed to be more present. That I'm like, I could go back in time and say like, okay, I should have been a little bit more present, but I'm better at it now. Now I'm like, all right, from 3 to 7, I'm like shutting off.
That's your
Sometimes I'll sit on the computer and like, I do all the design for the website. So like, I'm actually like very creative. I actually paint.
You literally do everything.
So I don't do everything.
No, I'm
very creative.
You have your eye in everything. Like you have your pulse on everything in your business, I feel like.
Yes.
You're not just gonna say, hey, go do this and run with it. No. You have a vision.
Yeah.
And it's very clear.
I'm really artistic. So like I'll see a painting and I'll be like, I can make that. And like I'll go to Michael's and make it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
like
sell
I have a painting in my house that whenever someone comes in, they're like, who made that? And I'm like, oh, I did. And then like my daughter would be like, do you want to know how she did it?
Aww.
But like, I wanted to be an artist at one time, but like now I just make jewelry instead.
Do you sell your paintings?
No, I don't have time for that.
I
just do it like, it's like therapy. It's like, I haven't done it in a really long time, but like painting was such a therapy for me. I have severe ADD.
Okay.
So like painting or doing diamond art is very soothing.
It's very soothing.
Yeah, it keeps me very busy.
Wow.
But like I can see something, like if I go to like Art Basel, I'll be like, do I pay $37,000 for that painting? Or do I go to Michael's and make it myself?
Make it yourself. So you have that eye to
So that was the same thing with jewelry, because I did art way before I did jewelry, and it was the same thing with jewelry. Like, am I buying this or am I making this?
Right. What is a strategy that you use? Or maybe there's no method to your madness, I don't know. But how do you stay so, I feel like you're very connected to your customers. And I'm speaking from
I take mistakes and I take things very personally.
I'm saying this from personal experience. When I say, Elyse, I want this, or what do you think about this? You're like, oh, no. You're going to like this. I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you know what I want. If I can't even relate it to you and I show you a picture, you'll be like, you think you want that, but let me show you something.
Right.
And then you're able to like create something in the middle, but it fits right, it looks right, because sometimes we want something and it's like, that's not gonna look good on you. Like me with the studs, remember? Like you're like, Nina, you have small ears, let's tone it down a little bit.
Right. Even though I feel like you're gonna end up getting a bigger pair.
I want a bigger one, but like you were the one to be like, you have small ears. What are you doing with 2 or 3 in your ear? You know what I mean? Like you have that eye for design and you have that pulse and you have that connection with your customers. And I feel as though people really look forward to following you and watching your stories, but how do you do that?
Honestly, I don't think it works, 10 out of 10 times, but no, like I think I have enough experience at this point to like understand, like listen, if you have a really small finger and you want like a 10-carat ring, like it's probably going to look a little big. But if you have bigger fingers, like if you have like, you know, a girthier finger, that will only look like maybe 4 or 5 carats it will look on someone else. So like I really try to give the right advice. Like you have to know, it's like clothing, right? Sometimes people need like a personal stylist, right? To like really understand like colors and fit and all that. It's the same thing with jewelry. If you're someone who is super, super, super like pale, you know, rose gold may not look good on you. Silver or white gold, you know, maybe you should go in. So I try to like take experience and like, don't get me wrong, I've made 100 million mistakes along the way. But like I try to take my experience and like do the best I can.
So you use experience. I feel like there's a little bit of art and intuition in there.
Yeah, like I mean, I forever wanted an emerald. That was my dream ring. And I remember when I tried on an emerald, I was like, ugh. I hated it on me. Hated it. And I was shocked.
Yeah.
And like, I wish more people could try on like different shapes before they buy. Cause like, you know, a lot of the times it comes back to you like, oh, well, I don't like this. And it's like, well, it's not my fault.
Right. I tried to tell you.
Well, it's not even like, it's just like, you know, everything comes with like, you know, I've made studs 100 million times. The mistake with studs is people buy them because they want like a cheaper price, but they're like, they stick out of your ears. They're not low profile. The prongs look like, you know, ugly dots, and like, fine, if that's what you like. But like, I even take studs, which is like such a simple product, and I like make sure it's like low profile. I make sure the prongs are super thin so that like you can see this. So like, I would never wear those other studs. Like, I don't want them like falling out of my ear. So like, yeah, I mean, 1 million people sell lab diamonds, 1 million people sell studs, but when you receive mine, like I'm giving myself a little bit of a pat on the back. Like I just feel like we take so much time and precision in making something so simple that a lot of other companies, they just want to buy a mounting, buy a stone, put them together.
And it's for
like,
everyone. And it's not.
It's not
gonna look good on everyone.
I have small ears. I want it to be like flat to my ear. And like, that's the number one thing I've heard from my customers, especially with studs, is like they come back for 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, I like the setting of how you do yours. Like that's
it's just like a very low.
I said it to you. I'm like, how do I get them to be like flat and not be like falling?
Oh, I've had customers that are like, I bought random lab diamond earrings on websites. And like, I regret it so much. And all I saved was $400. I want to return them, and I just want you to make me the ones that I wanted, right?
When is a specific event, moment, or time and period that you can think of where you're like, my business made it? I made it.
It's so weird because like I still don't even feel that way, to be honest. But I've had the same, if not more, consistent revenue for 5 years now. Like year 1 was like X amount of dollars, and then like year 2 to 6 now has been nothing but like trending upward. So I feel very like steady in like what I'm doing, and like I know that I'm here, and I know that I've made a name. I know that I've made like a presence. I know that like I have repeat customers, and like I know that when someone gets to know the brand and the pieces, they're like coming back for more. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Sometimes things fall apart. Sometimes a diamond goes missing. Sometimes a clasp gets loose. These are just things that you're dealing with.
I mean, life. It's a product. It's
right.
Jewelry.
So I'm saying like, you know, we do get a customer here and there that's like not happy with something, and like all I try to do is fix it. And like, at least, you know what I mean? Fix that, like the relationship, and say, listen, give us another chance. Like, I can promise you we're here for a reason. So again, I don't feel like I've made anything. I just feel like, I just know I'm not going away.
I love it. You're here to stay.
I'm here to stay for whoever appreciates and loves what we do. Do I think like we're going to go out of business? No. But I don't know if I like, you know, depends what making it is, right? What's making it to you? Like, I know that like,
well, like, you know, you're never going to go back. You're not, when I say you made it, it's like, I'm not going back to working for somebody else.
No. And I will always be making trendy jewelry. Like, you know, you may see a piece in the market that's like $80,000. You can guarantee you that like we can make it less.
I think people should study how you used social media as well for your business. I think it's genius how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
Isn't that how everyone does it now, though? I mean, I'm even finding it hard to like,
You're very consistent.
the algorithm doesn't feel that way right now.
I don't know. You're very consistent. Like, I know I'm getting an EP Fine Jewelry story, and I know that she's
10
coming out
a.m.
with a new thing. I know that she has new pieces coming every week. Like, you are very consistent. Was this on purpose?
Yeah, I mean, the point of our brand is to give you like forever pieces, like studs, you know, eternity bands, tennis necklaces, and stuff like that. But the real thing is that like staying relevant. I also have like a huge addiction problem to buying new things. So like I'm like already designed one thing and I'm like, okay, I want to design something else. So like you as a consumer or you, whatever, especially if you're more in like the fashion jewelry section, you're looking for a necklace for going out. You're looking, you might not want something forever. You might want to spend only $300, $400, $500 on something that will last you a year or two.
So your creative wheels are always spinning.
Like I've already designed 7 pieces. I've not even like, I'm always at least 5 to 10 pieces ahead.
Wow.
Always. It's just deciding when I'm going to launch them, when's the right time.
What is the most rewarding part of being a jewelry entrepreneur, jewelry designer, and owning your business? Like
Having nice jewelry, obviously.
So you're always decked out.
No, well, I mean, like the biggest perk is getting to like see what you've created or see what has been created. Because like I don't create everything, you know. An eternity band's been around forever, but like seeing the final piece and like just getting that like, wow, we killed it. I'm obsessed with this. But then like I'm like, okay, but I want it all.
Right.
And then I'm like,
right.
all the money I make goes to jewelry.
Right.
But then at least I get to wear it, right?
Right.
Because if not, I would have been buying it anyways.
What lessons have you learned about resilience and leadership throughout your whole journey? Like even like when you were working for Saks and in your insurance company, and then now you have EP Fine Jewelry, leadership and resilience. What's like your top 2 lessons you've learned?
I mean, listen, if you're not resilient,
'Cause you're a poster child for resilience.
if you're not resilient and you want to run your own business, do you know how much backlash I get for, oh, well, you're copying someone. Oh, well, I made this first. Or, oh, you know, the jewelry industry specifically is all inspired by something.
Yeah.
To say that you're 100% original today, I mean,
I'd have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I mean, like there might be some really like eclectic things that might, but it was still inspired by something.
Yeah.
So I mean, resilient meaning like getting attacked on social media and like, you know, by people in the industry or just like other customers of people from the industry. Like I can't tell you how many times that's happened to us.
Wow.
It used to affect me a lot. Now it's like blocked. Like I don't even respond to them.
Just being resilient.
It hasn't happened in a really long time. I'm going to be honest with you. Like the jewelry industry has totally changed. Everyone is inspired by each other.
Do you feel like people are collaborative in your industry?
Absolutely not. And I wish they were more collaborative. Like if another jewelry designer came to me and was like, listen, I love what you're doing. Let's do something together. I would be the first person that would be like, maybe my customers will like your stuff. Maybe your customers will like our stuff. But everyone's very greedy.
Oh.
And everyone wants to be like the first person who launched X product. And I just don't feel that way. If you're selling a $60,000 necklace,
Yeah.
but I made something similar for $2,300,
Yeah.
I don't
not
know
the
if
same
we have the
client.
same clientele.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if your piece is $2,500 and I made something for $100, if they want genuine diamonds,
Yeah.
they're not coming to me for a for $100
Not the same person.
necklace. So I'm saying like everyone's quick to jump down your throat and be like, you copied me, you know, blah, 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 blah. But like at the end of the day, like they're not buying from you.
Yeah.
They can't afford your stuff.
Yeah. So I didn't really take anything from you.
I think that that's the problem. I think that like, oh, and if you go onto Google
Yeah.
and you like search a brand, everyone's using each other's names on Google search. Like when you, like if you Google like diamond ring, this person's, you know, using keywords of this person. So it's like all jumbled together. And like, that's where you see those ads from, is because you might be searching like twist ring.
Right.
Your intention is to buy it from David Yurman.
Yeah.
But like that person's using David Yurman's name to promote their stuff.
I see. Okay.
It's like all like in the back end, and it's just so funny because it's like everyone's just like using each other's names in these Google analytics. I don't know. I'm not an expert in marketing,
got it,
SEO, but like, do you know how many people tell me like, oh, I was searching for your name, but then all these brands came up? So it's like everyone's just jumbled together.
Going back to your personal stuff, what advice would you give other women who are trying to juggle their personal and professional lives? If you could give a piece of advice, what would it be?
In order to be successful, just like a man, you have to pour your whole heart into it.
Oh, Elyse, I love that.
So if you can't pour your whole heart into it, and you're going to be pulled, I mean, you're going to be pulled in a million different directions anyways. But what I'm saying is, like, if my husband or your husband, or if a man wanted to start his own business, you have to support him, right? He's the one that's going to take care of the family and all that. But like, you don't get the same respect back if the woman wants to do it. And do you know how many people I see now? I go to bazaars like in the winter time. Like I get invited to like, you know, bazaars for like Christmas time or Mother's Day. It's all women like starting businesses, like whether it's kids' clothing, it's whether it's jewelry, whether it's shoes or handbags. Like everyone wants to be in this space. Wow. And I think the only way to be successful, to be truly, truly successful, is you have to take away the noise. You have to be able to understand that you can't be there 24/7 for your husband. You can't be there 24/7 for your child. You have to have a balance.
This is for you.
But like, this is what you want to do. Like, you probably do a lot for your child. You probably do a lot for your spouse. Do it for yourself also. Like, when did you not matter?
Wow.
And people will say that's selfish. I don't agree.
I don't agree with that.
But people will say it's selfish.
I think when you pour into yourself, I think when you see, and I totally take into consideration the fact that I am not a mom, but I do see this a lot in family and friends where like, if you don't pour into yourself, what are you teaching your child?
Right.
Okay. And I've also noticed, and I don't want to make a blanket statement, but I'm going to make a statement. I also feel like a man doesn't feel guilty for pouring his heart into something he loves.
I mean, maybe he does. He just doesn't say it.
You're right. Maybe
women
he does.
Are supposed to say like, oh, I have mom guilt. I have zero mom guilt.
I don't think dads have guilt. I have never met a guy who said it. Let's put it that way.
They'll not say it. I'm sure deep down they feel it.
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to tell you now, these moms, and like, they know who they are, who sit there and say like, I can't go on a girls' trip because I feel guilty. I can't go out for dinner because I'll miss bedtime, or like, I can't go to a work event because I'm not there. I don't feel any of that. I feel like I'm an amazing role model to my daughter. I feel like she'll grow up with the ability to see like, well, mom has her own business. Mom did this. Like, I want to be like my mom. And
Mom's happy when she does what she loves to do.
100%. And I think that not enough people get to be happy with what they do. And like, listen, being a stay-at-home mom might be for some people.
Right.
It's not for me.
Right.
Even if I had all the money in the world to do absolutely nothing, I still
would be doing
something.
Isn't there a saying like kids need happy parents?
I think kids need role models.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't mean you have to work. I mean, you can still be a role model in the home.
Whatever you're doing, whatever you love to do,
I just don't think you need to be a role model. So like, you know, I like when my daughter drives by my store and goes, look, mommy, it's your store. Like, I like that when she sees something new on me, she's like, will you make me one? Like, I think that she looks up to me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's the most important thing. I don't think that I used to care a lot about what people thought. I think that I was doing things to please, and like that stopped so fast. And like now I've become like, you don't like it? Take a hike. Yeah. Like, I have no time to argue over why you should buy a natural diamond over a lab diamond. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Right.
Don't have a whole debate with me. Don't tell me this. Don't tell me that.
Right.
I don't want to have an argument. I used to sit there and I used to argue in my DMs like, well, here. And like, I used to try to make my point. Now I'm just like, okay, bye.
How has your definition of success and fulfillment changed from the time that you were, you know, working at Saks or this insurance company? Now you have your own business. Like, do you define, does success mean something completely different to you now?
Yeah, because I used to think making more money was like what defined like success. Like, I made so much money when I was younger. Like, when I was 22, I was doing like $120,000 a year. Like, imagine that, like I don't know, I'm 38. I'm just throwing that out there. So like that was a long time ago to be making like $100,000.
Right.
You know, when I was 21, 22, 23, I was like, okay, like I have no expenses. I literally have so much money at this age, right? Like now you have a million expenses. I have a mortgage. I have kids in private school. I have a car. I have to pay rent. Like you now have so many expenses. So like success back in the day, I think was like how much money you made. Where now I'm like, what do you mean? I work so hard. Where is all the money?
Right. But you're so happy.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. Like I'm fine, but I'm saying like you don't realize starting your own, like running your own business, like how poor you actually are.
That's like the most realist
Like
thing anyone's ever
like
told
every
me.
time you make money, you have to buy a new product. You have to get new inventory.
You look at everything as an investment, and then you just pray that it is an investment.
You sell like, you know, you have this amazing Christmas, then you have to pay for all the product, and you're like, oh, but like, where's all the money I made?
Right. I feel you on that.
I think success is like being happy with what you do, knowing that like you love what you do. Like sometimes I'm like in the mood to play hooky and I just like don't want to go to work.
Right.
And then I have the ability to do that.
The freedom. I think I love that about entrepreneurship. Like you have freedom with your time and your schedule.
Yeah.
And you can, I think that's a very helpful thing when you have a family too, I feel.
But like anyone that tells you like, well, I only want to work 9 to 5, you should keep working 9 to 5.
Yeah, I don't try to change people's mind on that.
Yeah, like you cannot.
Some people need that structure, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just like some people do really good at school, but then when they come out into the real world, it's like,
like
all hell
I
breaks
work
loose.
sometimes till like midnight.
Yeah.
Like if I worked for somebody, I get to clock out at 5 o'clock. Like my mind can be like
shut off
till 9 a.m. My mind's never shut off. I'm like always like thinking about like, okay, like I need to respond to this person. I need to get this person a quote. I need to make sure that like this is in, and I'm not perfect. And like, to be honest, I'm an awful leader.
You think?
Yeah. I am not a leader. I'm a creative.
Okay.
And like people that have worked for me, and like you can even ask my assistant, I have to be like, can you tell me what to do? Because like I'm like all over the place. I can tell someone like, okay, you didn't do it correctly. And like, I want to do everything myself. That's another thing I had to totally be like, all right, I can't do everything myself.
Are you good at delegating now or no?
No, I'm awful.
Because you know what you're looking for.
I know what I'm looking for, but
That's why.
Like I will like my assistant, like when she sees us, she's gonna laugh. She'll be like, okay, you need to order like new packaging. You need to do, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I will. And then like the next week she'll be like, well, where's the packaging? I'll be like, oh, can you just do it? And she'll be like, well, I offered to do it in the first place, but then you wanted to do it. And then like, I totally just let it go.
Then you let it go.
I'm really bad at multitasking. I'm awful at it, actually.
What's next for you personally and EP Fine Jewelry?
I really want to expand the fashion. I'm always going to have the fine jewelry. The fine jewelry avenue will be catered more to making, personalized jewelry, because that's where we started, and that's where like I feel like personalized jewelry will always be predominant. Like people are always going to have kids. People are always going to want to remember a mother or a sister. So like personalized jewelry is my passion. I also love doing like designing, like making you a ring, making earrings. Like that's definitely like where EP Fine Jewelry is going to go. I would like to expand, our charm bangle collection. So we have a charm bangle, a charm ring, and a pendant that all the letters are interchangeable. Eventually, I would like to do like bangle building stations in malls.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So like kind of like a Pandora concept where like you'll get to come into our like, I'd probably do more of like a kiosk.
Okay.
Because like a store is a lot of work. And like no one wants that now. I think retail is very much changed.
Right.
But I still want the ability for people to come and like look. When I see people come into the showroom and they want to build a bracelet,
it's a whole different experience.
They're like, oh my God, look. And they just sit there and they just get, but again, that's why like I would like to expand the business.
I get lost in your showroom. Like it's a whole different experience.
You could be there for hours.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. I totally agree. I think that'd be a great idea.
So I want to expand the like actual fashion jewelry to like be more accessible to like people that will never see our social media, people that would never come to our showroom. So I think being like, in a small kiosk in the malls where people could just walk by and be like, oh my God, I want to build a charm bangle. So like that's, that requires an investment.
Yeah, I know.
If anyone's interested, but
it does.
Everything all investors.
Everything requires an investment.
But I think that it has major potential to be, in malls across America.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like to
love that.
travel more and do trunk shows. But again, it's hard. Like my husband, just, got over that huge hurdle of being sick, and my daughter's still young. So we'll see what happens when she's older.
Elyse,
Maybe she'll work with me. Maybe we'll be like a duo.
you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Elyse, thank you so much for coming. I
Thanks.
love you. You're such an inspiration to me. Seriously, it was the moment when I saw you go through everything, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I was already thinking about you. I'm like, she needs to be on the show. She's an inspiration. Like, that is a woman. That is a powerhouse.
Well, it
like,
means a lot to me.
Like, you're incredible. And I'm so grateful that you shared your story. I know
you.
it's not easy to do all the time. And I know you especially don't like to go down certain paths.
It's funny because, like, I actually really am such an open book. Like, people will
You
tell
are.
people tell
yeah.
me I'm an oversharer, but like some things I just don't feel like
things don't.
oversharing.
But I mean, I loved today's conversation. I really did. And I hope you enjoyed it too. But before you leave, where can people find you?
Okay.
Where can they get your jewelry? Share everything.
I have a website. So www.epfinejewelry.com. Instagram is your #1 place
Yeah.
where you're going to be able to access like me as a person, designs, like, more unique things. You can DM us anytime. We're on TikTok. It's very fun on TikTok. And then we have a showroom.
That's in Aventura.
Aventura.
In Miami, like near.
We have a lot of avenues of how you can come and see us.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll be in the malls in the future.
So Instagram, website, TikTok, and showroom in Aventura.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Elyse.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that was good, dude.